Sarah's Stampin' Retreat. Today we're going to be using this Simply Succulents stamp set to create a Z-Fold card. And then there are some lovely sentiments in this stamp set. You make the ordinary extraordinary, you've been on my mind, kind people are my kind of people, but I'm going to use this thanks. So I don't need the thanks just yet, I'll put that to one side. I'm just going to stamp the succulents and I'm going to stamp the pot. And to do those I'm going to use basic grey. And I'm just stamping them onto some of our shimmer white cardstock. It was really hard to see the shimmer on the camera. But the shimmer white takes more water and I'm going to be doing a bit of a watercolour technique today. So I want to be able to use the water with it. So I'm actually going to use these succulents this way up. So I'm just going to turn it this way to colour it a second. I don't use this watercolour technique too much, but I thought that this would be a lovely card to use it on. So I'm just going to use some of my blender pens, and these are double-ended and you get 3 in a pack, and they're just nice for blending or colouring with our inks. So there's a few ways that you can do this, but I'm going to put some shaded spruce on this corner of my block, and this washes off really easily afterwards. So that's shaded spruce. Then I'm going to pop on some old olive around here. That's my old olive. Then I'm going to pop on some pretty peacock. And also some blackberry bibis. And I'm going to have a little play really. I want to start off with some of the pretty peacock on these pieces down here. And I'm just picking up a bit of the colour on the end of my blender pen. And then you can just lay it down on here. So it will start off darker and then it will start getting lighter as the colour comes off the end of the pen. So I'm doing some of the darker bits first, and then as the colour comes off the end of the pen, I'll do the ends of the little leaves so that we get a bit of a shadow effect. There we go, so then I can pick some more up. And I'm just going round the areas where there's probably a bit of shadow first. I'm not a colourist, I just like to give an effect of kind of a 3D type image. And you can just see that once you've put down all that dark, then it goes a bit lighter and you've got a nice light colour to play with then. You can see I'm just picking up a really little bit of colour each time, and it goes quite a long way. So then I'm just going to scribble on here to get the pretty peacock off. And you can see that that's running pretty clear now, so I can just start on with a new colour then. So I think I'm going to use the old olive for this one. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of the blackberry bliss to the tips. I'm just going to take that blackberry bliss off there. And you can see we're running clear again, so then I'm going to pick up some of the shaded spruce for the next one. Now I'm going to go back with the old olive for this one. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of raspberry, rich raspberry there. You can see it's a really tiny bit because I don't need very much at all. I'm just going to highlight these leaves with the rich raspberry. And then I'm just kind of added some tinges of the rich raspberry to these. I'm not really going over the ends like I have on the other ones. I'm just kind of adding a little bit of colour here and there, that's all. So I've just washed and dried my block. Now I'm going to use some of the cinnamon cider just to do the pot. You can see you really don't need very much ink at all. And I'm not too worried about going over the lines because we're going to cut it out in a minute. Keep going over it until you get a level of colour that you want, that you're happy with. And then I can just colour this off here. I'll go back to clear. You can see it does still mark the end of my pen, but it comes out clear, so it's fine for next time I use it. So there are coordinating dies with this. So for example, this one cuts out this, and you've got the pot, and you've got a couple of other bits that coordinate with the stamp set, and then you've got these lovely stitched sentiment pieces. I'm not going to use those today because we've gone for the watercolour effect. I want to cut it quite close. I don't want a white border around the outside. And the other thing that's in the die set is this gorgeous background die. So I think that at some point I'm going to do 5 ways to one of my Sunday videos using this, because there's just so much that we can do with this. But for today I'm just cutting round these. You can see I've got my little pot there. I'm just going to cut round this, and I'm keeping quite close to the picture. I often cut my things out using like a white border, but because it's quite a kind of natural watercolour type look, then I don't want the border today. Base, I've got a 5" by 10" piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to score that at 2.5 inches and at 5 inches, and then we're going to fold that so that you fold it like a normal card, and then we're going to fold it back on itself like that. And then I've got a 3.5 by 8.5" piece of cardstock, and I'm going to score that at 3.5 inches and at 6 inches. And then I'm just going to fold those as well. So then we're going to make some panels from this In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and we're using this brick one, which is this one here. And I've got a panel measuring 4 3/4 inches square, which is going to go there. And then this panel measures 4 3/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and that's going to pop there. And then this will go like this. So I'm just going to use my Tombow glue to add those panels on. And then I'm just going to add some glue just to one half of this panel here. And I'm going to add it onto the front of my card. I just want to make sure that when we close the card it looks like it's in the centre. And then I'm going to put some glue onto the back of this panel at the back. And then I can close the card again. And then we've got our Z-Fold. So I'm just going to take my Blackberry Bliss marker, this is my Stampin' Right marker, and I just want to fill in these little gaps with that so that it looks like it's against the cardstock that's going to be in the background. And then I'm also just going to use the brush end just to go around the edges of my cutout piece. And this will help it stand off the paper a little bit. When you're doing this kind of outlining technique, you always want your pen to be at the back of your cardstock so that if you slip, the pen goes on the back, not the front where you've coloured. So then I'm going to glue the plant pot onto there. And then I'm just going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of here. So then it will open like this. So then here I've got a 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 piece of this DSP, and I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock the same size. So I'm going to put the Whisper White one here for a little message. And then I'm going to pop this one next to it. In this panel here. And then I'm just going to take my Thanks and my Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm just going to pop that just on there. And then I think that looks really cute now. And we open it up and there's that Thanks. So I really hope you've enjoyed our project for today. If you did, I'd really appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe to see future projects. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I have new projects available. All of the products that we've used today will be listed in the description below, and there'll also be a host code there. If you pop my host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.